The return of CM Punk in WWE proves one thing: nothing is impossible in the world of professional wrestling. No matter what the fans say or do, you can never predict things like this. And it's crazy to think that all of this is even possible, as it only happened because of all the drama that occurred within 1 year in AEW. And from the timeline of Punk's debut in AEW leading up to his termination is short, but it's insane on so many levels. And this is his complete storyline leading up to his WWE return. On July 28th episode of Dynamite in 2021, Darby Allin put out a challenge to a superstar who's going to debut on the August 20th episode of Rampage, a superstar who claimed to be the best in the world, and this was enough to spark the rumors of a CM Punk return in AEW. And considering the episode of Rampage was taking place in Chicago, the rumor alone was able to sell out the United Center in just a few minutes.
You know, I've been around a lot of men in this world that have laid claim to how they're the greatest. And there's only one place to really prove that, right here in AEW, even if you think you are the best in the world.
Punk made his miraculous return to pro wrestling at the First Dance edition of Rampage, and the emotions ran high amongst fans in the arena and the ones watching at home. The scenes were incredible. He then addressed the fans about his long absence and then went on to cut a heartfelt promo, and in it he made it clear that he still wanted to get in the ring as he was still hungry and he was eager to work with a new generation of wrestlers. So whilst giving his first promo in AEW, he also set up a match between himself and Darby Allin at the All Out pay-per-view that year.
You see, I felt before like I had to leave. I didn't want to, but I knew I couldn't stay, and that was when I used to work for a place called Ring of Honor. August 13th, 2005 was my last match in Ring of Honor, and I famously came out with tears in my eyes. And walking out here today, I now know why I was crying, and it was a lot of reasons, but what it boiled down to was I had made a place where people could come work, get paid, learn their craft, and love professional wrestling. And I cried because I knew I was leaving a place that I love, and it was a home, and I knew where I was going. It wasn't gonna be easy for a guy like me. I've seen you. You're good. I've seen you jump out of airplanes. I've seen you wrapped up in a body bag and chucked over the top rope. I've seen you kick down a flight of stairs, and you always come back. Just like each and every person here in Chicago, you're tough.
So after the match with Darby Allin, it seems like the honeymoon period was over for Punk as he entered a feud with Eddie Kingston, and this is where all the signs started to show that maybe, just maybe, not everyone was so excited that CM Punk had returned to wrestling.
Eddie Kingston, you're not here, so I can't ask you to your face, so I have to do this, and maybe it's a little bit embarrassing, but, you know, I was embarrassed for you last week. You interrupted me, and I don't like being interrupted, all right? I don't know what kind of fabricated story you have in your head of some kind of beef that maybe happened between us years ago, but there's no such thing. Fight him? I would, but guess what? He's not here, because I got the time. I'll be in St. Louis, and I'll be there to accept your apology for interrupting me.
To say the least, Eddie wasn't too happy with what Punk had to say, and on the 5th of November episode of Rampage, Kingston had the opportunity to let loose on Phil and let the whole world know that he ain't too fond that CM Punk is back.
You want an apology? That's what you wanted. That's what you said Wednesday, right? Answer me when I'm talking to you. Oh, you don't like that.
I love it. Look, I understand it sounds a little bit condescending when somebody asks another man for an apology, but you interrupted me, man. Don't paint me into a corner like I'm the bad guy here. You interrupted me.
Yes, I interrupted the great CM Punk. Oh, no. Oh, God. Guys like that on the independents when I first broke in inspired me. Were my heroes. But you low-life scumbag, two-faced, narcissistic bitch, you judged me. I came to that locker room to get free from my mental crap, free from the streets. I came to that locker room for brotherhood, and all you did was judge me. Because why? I was fat? Why? Because I like to eat a little bit? Why? because I didn't play everyone's game. I need you guys to understand this and hear this. And I need you to open up your ears and hear this. Nobody wants you here. They never wanted you here. That whole locker room's afraid to say it, not me. So get out and stop smirking at me like you did the other day. I'll smack you right off your face.
And while watching this back, it honestly made me realize that maybe Punk wasn't the problem in AEW and WWE, and maybe he was really just working with a bunch of people who disliked him from the jump potentially, who knows. And from there, CM Punk will go on to have a feud with MJF, which many claim to be one of the best in Phil's career and the best in MJF's career. And it was a no-brainer considering how both of them are so good on the mic. However, the feud was put on pause for some time when Punk defeated MJF in an excellent dog collar match at Revolution in 2022. And with that feud concluding and the star power that CM Punk held, he was granted an AEW title match against the champion at the time, that being none other than Hangman Adam Page at Double or Nothing. And little did we know as the fans that this would be the beginning of the end of CM Punk's short AEW career. Punk and Page came face to face, and it was Page's cryptic promo that will set in motion Punk's disdain for AEW. And Page will take subtle shots at Punk's nature backstage and ended his passionate promo by saying that when they do meet, that he's not just going to be defending his title against CM Punk, he's going to be defending the entirety of AEW from him.
I said I was going to destroy you. I said I was going to annihilate you, to embarrass you. And I don't think fighting your hatred, your pettiness, your cowardice was more of the same. I don't think it's the right thing to do. But I will tell you face to face, man to man, how I feel about you. I don't hate you. I almost pity you. And I have no respect for you and what you've done since you've gotten here. I love this place. I care about this place. This is my home. And this Sunday at Double or Nothing, I will not be defending this championship against you. No, for the first time in my life, I will be defending all elite wrestling from you.
But if you're so upset that I'm here, you're gonna have to do something about it on Sunday. Win, lose, or draw, I respect you, Hangman. But remember, those roads you traveled to get here, they were paved by me.
And Punk will go on to beat Page and become the new World Heavyweight Champion. However, what should have been a healthy run was cut short due to a freak accident, and in an emotional address to the fans, CM Punk reluctantly relinquished his title, but went on to say that he will be back soon.
I did the stage dive. What an idiot. I must have hit my foot on the top of the guardrail, but I didn't feel it. And you would think that shit would hurt, but when people caught me, they put me back down, I waited for FTR, and I'm standing on my foot, and it just didn't feel right, you know? But I thought, again, maybe I just whacked it or something like that, and then I wrestled on it, blew a springboard, came off the top of like a double axe, like did all this shit. And what I eventually did is, I fractured my foot, but then I pulverized the bones. Pulverized is the word Dr. Jung used.
Because the last thing I ever wanted to feel is like I was letting any of you down. The last thing I ever wanted to do was leave you feeling disappointed. So I hope thus far I haven't made you feel that way. So okay, here's the bad news. The bad news is I'm injured and I need surgery. A couple of things are broken. The biggest one is my heart, because I love nothing more than performing for all of you, and I wanted to go on one hell of a run. That's the bad news. The good news is I can still do all that.
So during his time out, Jon Moxley became the interim AEW World Champion. And on the 17th of August episode of Dynamite, Punk had a promo exchange with Jon Moxley. However, before Moxley could come out, Punk called out Hangman Adam Page to get his rematch. And it was strange considering Page refused to show up considering he wasn't there, and then Punk called him a coward for it. This was confusing as shit, as everyone was considering the feud between Punk and Page was long over.
Hangman Adam Page, you want that rematch? You got it right here, right now. Let's go. My sentiments exactly. Now on to the important things. That's not cowboy shit, that's coward shit. A little bit of advice, and I suggest you take. The apology must be as loud and as public as the disrespect.
And then CM Punk would go on to lose his title to Jon Moxley, only to win it back at All Out that year. But what came next was unfortunately the highlight of the entire year for AEW. At the post-media scrum of the pay-per-view, Punk blasted the Elite, who were also EVPs, for spreading rumors about him that he got his former best friend Colt Cabana fired. In addition to this, Punk also took shots at Page for cutting a promo and allegedly believed that he was going into business for himself.
Grown-ass adult man, and I decide not to be friends with somebody is nobody else's fucking business. But my friends, if I fall backwards, will catch me. Scott Colton, I felt, never would have. My problem was I wanted to bring a guy with me to the top that did not want to see me at the top. Okay? You call it jealousy, you call it envy, whatever the fuck it is. My relationship with Scott Colton ended long before I paid all of his bills. I have every receipt, I have every invoice, I have every email. I have the email where he says, and I quote, "I agree to go our separate ways. I will get my own lawyer and you do not have to pay anymore." That's an email that I have. The only reason the public did not see is because when I finally had to countersue him through discovery, we discovered he shared a bank account with his mother. That's a fact. Dude, I haven't been friends with this guy since at least 2014, late 2013. And the fact that I have to sit up here because we have irresponsible people who call themselves EVPs and couldn't fucking manage a target, and they spread lies and bullshit and put into a media that I got somebody fired when I have fuck all to do with him, want nothing to do with him, do not care where he works, where he doesn't work, where he eats, where he sleeps. And the fact that I have to get up here and do this in 2022 is fucking embarrassing. And if y'all are at fault, fuck you. If you're not, I apologize. But what did I ever do in this world to deserve an empty-headed fucking dumb fuck like Hangman Adam Page to go out on national television and fucking go into business for himself? For what? What did I do, Dave? What did I ever do? Didn't do a goddamn thing. Trying to run a fucking business, and when somebody who hasn't done a damn thing in this business jeopardizes the first $1 million house that this company has ever drawn off of my back and goes on national television and does that, it's a disgrace to this industry, it's a disgrace to this company. I'm sorry if I'm a little fucking snippy.
That's fine.
I'm hurt and I'm old and I'm fucking tired, and I work with fucking children.
What ensued was all-out hell broke loose backstage when the Elite, Ace Steel and CM Punk got into a physical altercation. All were suspended, and many at the time blamed Tony Khan for letting this happen, as he wasn't being a true leader. And whilst there isn't any footage of this, I believe Booker T explains it best.
After the scrum, the Young Bucks were approached Punk's locker room, and CM Punk wasn't answering the door because he had been in a long, bloodied match finished with an emotional scrum.
So the Young Bucks go to the locker room, they banging on the door. Boom, 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 boom. CM Punk, boom, 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 boom. Punk, you in there? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, keep it going.
The Bucks were said to have pounded on the door with claims that they eventually kicked the door down.
It's bail, like a home invasion type. Bam, just kick the door.
When it was all said and done, the Elite returned at full gear that year, and Punk went on to have his own show, Collision, as many didn't want to work with him. Which made me think that maybe everything that was being said about him was potentially true, and that it wasn't the company or the wrestlers that were ever the issue, but it was Phil himself. I can't but help think of the promo and interview Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose gave in regards to Punk and his attitude with working with others.
Look, you have no idea how genuinely sorry I am that CM Punk just didn't turn out to be what you wanted him to be. He didn't turn out to be what any of us wanted him to be when we welcomed him back into this business, gave him a second chance in the greatest sport in the world. It just didn't work out. And while I am truly sorry for that, I know he's your boy, I know he's from Chicago and you love him, I have zero sympathy for CM Punk.
Then you probably have some kind of feelings about that guy. I know I do. You know, just by doing one of these things, he made my job a lot harder over, 5-10 years ago to do it. I don't like the guy. I don't know many people that do.
With Collision, one would hope that everything will get better from this point onwards, as the idea of the show was being built around its biggest star, but at the same time keeping him away from all the drama and the wrestlers that had issues with him. But Mr. Jungle Boy had different ideas. To keep it simple, Perry wanted to do a spot that involved real glass. Punk refused, mainly because he was the locker room leader at Collision and he deemed it that it would be unsafe. And Jack Perry said fuck that and ended up doing the spot at All In that year. He would then look directly at the camera and tell everyone that it was real glass.
You know what this is right here?
And then crushing.
Real glass.
Front hook.
And folks, that was the last straw. CM Punk ended up getting into another physical fight with Jack backstage, with some even claiming that Punk lunged at Tony Khan during the incident. And everyone involved was ejected from the venue, and considering that this is CM Punk's second incident within a 1-year span, a thorough investigation needed to be made and a decision on what needs to happen to CM Punk's future within AEW.
Today I had to make one of the toughest decisions of my professional career. Today I terminated Phil Brooks, CM Punk, for cause.
And soon after his release, many started to report that WWE wanted to bring Punk back. However, you couldn't tell if any of these reports were true, as some claimed that WWE refused to even listen to him. However, the rumors kept getting louder and louder, as we did get some teases from Punk himself and WWE superstars.
You got time on your hands?
Yeah, I got some time on my hands for the next 2 months.
All right, fair enough.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making the world forget that he existed.
The greatest thing the devil ever did was make you people believe he didn't exist.
And Nakamura, and a knee right to the jaw.
And hopes were high, considering Survivor Series was taking place in Chicago, and by the time we got to the event, none of the wrestling reporters could even tell if Punk would be showing up or not. It seemed like the whole world was waiting to see what would happen next.
Now, is CM Punk coming back to WWE? Well, that is the million-dollar question that everybody is asking.
At this point, CM Punk's WWE return is a I believe it when I see it situation.
The show itself was good, with the return of R-Truth and Randy Orton, and the War Games matches were pretty entertaining. However, with no sight of Punk and the main event done, it felt as though the fans would be left disappointed. However, WWE managed to pull an ace out their sleeves towards the end of the night, with the babyfaces all in the ring cheering for their victory, and the trademark logo showing. WWE managed to freeze hell over with what happened next. And with that, CM Punk returned to where it all started, slamming the door on his AEW career and reopening one only made possible by the modern Triple H era of WWE. And make no mistakes, the return had the game's fingerprints all over it, as Triple H is all about business, and CM Punk is good for business. So a big question that many fans need to ask, has this return helped WWE in their viewership and appealing to the fans? And the answer to that is a simple yes. With the return of CM Punk and Randy Orton, WWE saw the ratings of Monday Night Raw rise by nearly 1/3 over the last week. Additionally, the Best in the World and the Apex Predator helped Raw's viewership rise to 1.8 million viewers, up by 29% from last week and 13% in comparable to last year. And adding to that, the Punk and Rollins segment that aired on Raw was the most watched segment, and it brought in an additional 400k more viewers over the 3-hour show. So to conclude, if WWE was smart in how they utilized Punk by making him only wrestle 3 to 4 matches a year and showing up on Raw and SmackDown only to do promos every now and then they can make him a special attraction in a similar fashion to Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Therefore, in my opinion, this will be utilizing his return to its fullest. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Are there any key moments that I might have missed in the AEW timeline? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a subscribe and a thumbs up, and check out these other videos that we made earlier.